Alright, so we got a bunch of things going on today. Jacob is seeing a frame. Hopefully it doesn't fall off after he's done. 3-window conversion. I'm going to start cutting this apart, unfortunately. I wish we started with a humpback, but we didn't. We just got a deal on this slant back, so we're going to have to use it. But we're going to cut it up in a bunch of different pieces. I might have the roof mocked up today. It depends, you know. I don't know what this roof is about, so I'm going to have to figure that out. So I'm going to cut a bunch of stuff out of here. I got to use most of the wheel wells, repair some of the wheel well. You know, there's a lot, not a lot missing, but a lot that needs to be used from your old sedan on the new one. So like the wheel wells and the bead from here down and over, mostly the whole roof. Then we got to figure out this situation here, because this machine that makes all these parts does great at small little detail areas, but larger flat surfaces like this it kind of struggles with. So this piece they just didn't even make, but this we're going to take right out of here. It should be the same as right here, so we're going to cut that out of there. So yeah, we're going to be a lot of mapping out today, trying to figure out how to cut this, where to cut it. So there's a lot of learning on my end and your end. So let's just get started. I don't know if I should strip the paint off of this whole back section or what to make it match. I'm going to eventually, but I think for cutting it, I'm not going to do it yet. Cutting. I'm going to cut right on the factory seams inside here because that's what I can see. Cut the window out first. Probably get some glasses. But cut the window out first, that's going to be the first thing. And then I think I'm going to map out the rest of the corner. Leave some meat here so I can weld to it. And cut the corner out and then figure out how and what to save on this part. And then figure out how to cut the wheel well out. Then after that, I think we should be all set for what we need here, besides this little piece, you know, there. That's no big deal. So I guess I'm just gonna start cutting the rear window out first. It'll be fun. It's the interior thingies. You could probably unscrew these, but I don't feel like it. Okay, package tray's gotta come out. Ugh, there's a lot of cutting. Falling through. Limit switch.
I know, but like really? That's the wire limit here? Look at that. That's a millimeter.
Yeah, it sucks. All right. Okay, that's almost out. Really dislike working in there. You ever seen the scribe?
Scribe?
Yeah. Yeah, don't look at that. That's why those glasses are there. They're not in there? Well, that doesn't make any sense. There's no scribe. No scribe.
Stop doing that.
This is not straight at all. I don't really want to cut through this wrap here. I want to try to get it out, at least where I'm going to cut. Probably full of asbestos. I'm working as best as I can. I ain't talking to you. Is this like separate piece? I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know what that is. I never really mess with the top thing. I'm going to cut through it because getting an insert. This is a custom at the end of the day. Too small. Roof's just going to fall in. Guy's always angry. It's already falling in, and I didn't even cut it yet. Great. So get this crap out of the way. Just cut it. Yeah, whatever. Oh, yeah, baby. Now the corner. Now, how much of the corner do I need? Probably a lot. Let me measure. So as you guys know, I have a microphone now. There's actually 2 of these, which is kind of cool. So me, Jacob, or me and Kelly, or me and whoever can both have a microphone and be anywhere and you can hear what we're saying. But the only thing that sucks about these is like every single part on it is magnetic. So when I just did my first action shot cutting stuff, it got it full of metal shavings. So I don't know how long these things are gonna last. I put these dead cats on here. That's what they call them in the biz. I put the dead cats on here so I could at least try and save the actual microphone part. Back here's magnetic for some reason. Maybe doesn't even work that great. Oh, no, that's metal, and the other one is just a magnet. Okay, So there's stuff everywhere. I just took the magnet part off of here because that just got full of metal shavings. And down here near the connection got full of metal shavings. And I don't think no matter what brand I get, everything is the new magnet charging technology, and it's just unavoidable. And same thing with my cameras on my phone. There are metal shavings like sticking out all around every single camera. It's a bad field to be in, to be recording videos, because everything just gets ruined so quickly. The first day, this thing's not even the first shot, this thing got full of metal shavings. So I hope these last, but we'll see. So moving on, I gotta cut these corners out, and I made a mark with a scribe. I don't know if you can see. You can see it over here with the white line, and over here it might fade out a little bit. I know I can see it. I was trying to find something to cut that out with. I know I have my power shears, but they're broken essentially, so I can't do it with that. I'm just gonna do it with a cutting wheel. You know, it's not my favorite thing to do, cutting around curves, but I think these are big enough curves. I think I can kind of get away with it. So I'm gonna cut all the way up to here pretty much and just blast it straight out. Might need to add a little piece in here, but that's okay. I might even actually end it a little sooner just so I have just the corner. Maybe right here. Come up, end it. I don't need this anyway, so you know, I'll kind of come up here and cut that off. So without further ado, let's get more metal shavings on my new microphone. There we go, corner off. And the nice thing about taking the corner off, you can fit it to where it fits the best. And then you got this nice flat section here also that's close enough to the edge that when you weld this, there's not going to be too much distortion here because we're so close to this bead here. So hopefully this all works out. It should. Still need to figure out this. I know this needs to turn into the, this needs to come down, but this will turn into the door jamb, essentially. This is going to be where the door just comes into. So a lot of work in this area, but just taking off the easiest things that we know we need to take off first. We can go from there. Got some of the old original seam weld we need to grind off. A doubler plate here we need to grind off. But all right, we'll do the other side. All right. All right, so I'm gonna offset this a little bit so I know where to cut. I'm gonna do it with tape because marks aren't showing up so good here. So I'm gonna cut on the bottom side of this because I think I'm gonna have to turn this into a flange, so I want the extra material to be able to do that. And I think, well, I know this turns it, but I think it's more of an angle. So I'm leaving myself extra material here. So yeah, I'm gonna cut all that out. Probably down to here. I don't know where to end it though. Maybe the factory seam again. Cut all the way back to here. Cut it out. That's not a bad idea. Fantastic. I don't know what's going on here yet. I'm gonna leave myself more material than I need, but I know that the coupes are different than sedans. This line that runs around the back on a coupe is this line. So this line comes around and goes around the back, and this bottom line here turns into this. No, it's another line that these don't have come around here to make a bead. So that's why we're gonna have to figure this out together and figure out how to do this, move this up or what's going on here. But first I need to cut this out, give myself some room, left myself a flat on both sides so I can figure it out. I don't need this way because this kicks off this way. I should have plenty of room to cut this out, so I'm gonna do that. right, so I just got a text from Dano, and this piece and this piece are being printed and are going to be part of the kit. And we also, I saw a picture of this piece come in, so that means I'll be able to trim it, weld it to the quarter piece and the top piece, and you know, the whole quarter will essentially be done. So yeah, you need this piece. We don't need the corner, because this is a custom at the end of the day. And the car that this roof was scanned from was one of Dano's cars, and it is Ruby, a 36 Ford built by Troy Ladd from Hollywood Hot Rods a while ago. He built that car a long time ago, and he did take it from a sedan, but I'm pretty sure these corners were hand formed, because they're very flat compared to this. There's a distinct, you know, high spot right here that this buck just doesn't have. And I was trying to rack my brain around, like, how the heck we're gonna make that corner fit. And then I get a text from Dano, and pretty much this whole corner piece is been printed out. It fades out a little bit up here. The print is not as crisp, but that's fine because we have all of this. So now I just need to figure out how to make that work and blend in with this. I know I'm not going to be able to put this window opening in this buck in particular because it still has all the structure in it, and I'm not about to cut out the inner structure of the window just to fit it to the buck. I'll probably cut the window, just the window out, be able to fit this top piece, be able to fit this or something like it. I'm not sure what they're doing here. With this piece, we're still, as you can tell, we're still kind of figuring this out, what's going to be included with the kit, what's not, what you're going to use from the sedan, what you're not going to use. And right now, we're not using the corner. And this line right here is included in this roof corner. So we might have to split this to use this bottom line. So we'll have to get all that figured out, which is not a big deal. I'm really excited that the whole corner is, you know, going to be included in the kit. I was getting kind of concerned on the roof because there was no printed pieces for the roof. And I'm like, if this is a kit for like normal people, that you know, it could get overwhelming with 0 pieces from the roof. But now that the whole corners are being made, this makes it a lot easier. There's, you know, it just makes it a lot easier. You don't have to like get so creative and have to make these panels fit from the sedan. It's now included. Huge step. This is the point of making this this prototype, is to figure out the issues, make it better, make it easier for a guy at his house to put one of these together. We don't want to make it overwhelming for somebody and, you know, nobody does them. That's not the point. We want 3 windows accessible for everybody. It's kind of, you know, what we're getting at. And we're not trying to make this, set the bar super high with this. That's why we get a buck included. The panels are already shaped. You just need to trim and weld them together. Essentially just add the back window now that the corners are made. And we'll figure out that bead section on the bottom. But, you know, we're just working together. It's not going to be, you know, I don't know if this series is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like all in a row finished, because, you know, we're finding some hiccups in the, you know, the process. We're fixing those hiccups, and that isn't a quick process. We're doing it as quickly as we can, but it's not like, oh, we found a problem and the next day it's fixed. But this is a really cool product, and I'm really honored to be doing the first one, finding out the issues, ironing them out, making it easier for everybody. We have these pieces cut off of the original body, so we still need to do some more cutting here. Maybe this side will show you exactly what we're doing here. So we saved most of the bead. I think Jacob cut a little too much down in here, but we'll figure that out. Hopefully we got enough. We should have enough, because we need to use the bead pretty much from here forward. So that means we got to repair this down here, that's a normal repair you got to do. You know, I'm not worried about that. You guys shouldn't be either. if you're tackling a kit like this, you should not be afraid of that. So, gotta use the wheel wells and this. So I think I'm trying to keep this piece as one. And who knows, if this works, this quarter panel piece, we might use this. I don't know. You can use your discretion, I guess, if you have a kit. We'll find out if this does work. I'll let you know. I think I'm gonna split this bead in half, and I'm thinking I might need, depending on what the Saltworks 3D Fab can make, because that's who made these panels. Depending on what they can make for the door top, I think this will be a good transition piece for the rear of the door. So this piece, where is this piece? This is the other side, but these are on the wrong sides. So this will go on the other side, but this corner here is going to turn into this. It's because the doors on these are swooped up. They're kind of like roundish on the 3 windows, so this is almost the size, almost the profile of the door. So I might have to graft these in, or we might have to graft these in if you're doing the kit as the inners, which would be kind of cool. If they can't make it, they're trying to press them, but if not, we'll have to use this part. I'm trying to have Dano include as much as possible in the kits so it's less daunting, because the 3-window conversion is a big task at the end of the day. So I want guys in their garage to be able to do this, and I know you guys can do it. Whether you think you can is a different story, but I know you guys can do this. It's very simple, especially when you get the buck. It tells you where everything needs to be. So we got these here. We got to cut the inner structures out of them, so it's just the skin, so we can fit it up to everything. But you know, it's all here. Just got to do a little bit more cutting. I was kind of working on something else today. Jacob was cutting up this car. I was doing this, little kick-ups on this Model A frame. Cut up a F1 cross member to fit and straighten out some front horns. And also started working on Model A grill repair. So the nose on this grill was all messed up. Oh, that's not the nose. This is the nose. Very flat. It should not be this flat. And look at all that in there. Yucca. So it should be more like this shape, and it is not that shape. So that's trash. I could probably bring this back, but it would have to, man, I'd have to hammer on this for hours and hours and hours to get it back to the shape it needed to be at. So it's easier to just take a repro grill, cut the nose off, graft it onto here. And it's shaping up pretty nice already. It needs to go a little bit farther down, but as of right now, everything fits a whole lot better than it did before. So we're getting somewhere. And this is only after an hour. You know, mark some things, trim some things, put that on there. So I'm gonna do some more work. The hard stuff now, you know, is getting all these different contours to flow with each other, because this grill's been smashed down, and this is an aftermarket grill, so, you know, I gotta make everything fit. So, gotta do that. That has nothing to do with this 3-window conversion, but I figured I'd show you guys, because I'm not really doing a video on that. I know, shut up, you talk too much, whatever. So yeah, it's been slow going on this now because I'm waiting for a few things. A few things have been shipped. I think I talked about it already. Roof corners and this. I should see them in a few days, by the end of the week, hopefully. So yeah, that's what we got going on. All right, so we've been waiting to do this because we're waiting for those pieces that I kept telling you. I probably told you 6 times about them. Just came. UPS guy's leaving. Jacob has been working hard on these quarters.
Show me the other one.
Got the lower patches. Oh, because this one's inside out?
Yeah. No, that one's just not cleaned off. So the wheel was cleaned up really nice.
Yeah,
for the most part.
On the top was not that great.
Yeah.
A couple patches in the
This
corner.
is a good example. That one's a little bit worse. But
Yeah. Got the lower patch on it by hand. Those are not pre-made panels.
finally making my own patches.
And this one, it needs a little more work than the other one. It's rotted here more. But this, you know, if you buy a sedan that doesn't need any rust repair, you're not going to have to do any of this stuff. That's kind of why I'm not really showing a ton of this. But you got rot holes over here, rot hole down there. This is really thin.
It's basically rotted.
Holes.
I mean, that's going to be a hole in 2 weeks.
That's definitely a hole. So we got to replace a lot of the top of this.
Oh, there's a hole in this one too.
Yeah.
And then this hole's up here. Like, we might as well just do the whole thing. You know?
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
We'll figure it out. But after we get this sorted with the panels that just came in, we'll pretty much be able to have, we will be able to have the whole back half done. So it's going to be some more trimming and stuff to go on there. So let's get this box in here and unbox the box. Great. Box has been deboxed.
It's been deboxed. The tape
It's
just
all
all
right.
ripping off.
Yay.
That's good shipping material.
Yes. What do we got, Cletus? What do we got?
Pretty sure this would be a roof corner.
That is a roof corner for sure.
Whoa, that gave us a lot.
Yeah, the biggest piece we've seen from this machine so far.
Maybe it's getting better.
Maybe
That's cool. It's got both the beats, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. That's why we saved.
We're gonna have to graft those pieces in from the, because this is.
Yeah, this is nice here.
This is within like
but this
here.
fades out. There's nothing here.
And then this.
But at least it tells you where
Yeah.
you need to graft in your piece.
I think that's really all it's for.
Yeah. See, because this is where the capabilities of the machine kind of
Start to fall off.
Yeah, fall
like,
short.
ooh.
Yeah, that's the very bottom of
We're
it.
gonna have to do some work to this. Ribbed. Quite
Oh
deeply.
yeah,
That's
planishing
interesting.
hammer should even
we'll
that
fix
out.
it.
But this is the new technology. It's
It's gonna get better.
yeah,
And like you can fix this with a hammer and a dolly. You don't need a planishing hammer. Like
yes. Let's go rack guard. Yep, driver, roof panel. Let's put it on the buck. See what it looks like. I know it's not like it needs to be trimmed, but we'll see how it fits. Oh, so much better.
Oh man, yeah, dude, look at that.
So much better.
That's sick.
And let's see if this is the same. Not quite.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out, and we'll tell you how to cut it. Yeah, all right. Well, the sucky thing is that, like, we have the dies for this.
Yeah, but you don't.
Yeah, but you guys do not, so I can't cheat and do that.
Yeah, the amount of people that are watching this video that have a full max will probably count on my left hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, probably. Yeah, not so much. Not so many. This is another good. Yeah, this is another good piece. Hopefully, this is a driver too, so we can put it up to it.
Maybe. Of course not.
Passenger. These are probably good because it was like not much had to go into that. Oh yeah, dude. All right.
You can't really put it on there too well.
Oh yeah, because of the edges.
Because the edges. But guessing this is the top.
Yep. And that's gonna go on
It'll do that.
just like that. Yeah, it goes higher on your side.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, more like that. Sweet. So yeah, we got some trimming to do, and well, I got some trimming and fitting to do. Oh
Probably
yeah.
won't need most of this.
Why?
I think you can use like just about up until here on the sedan quarter.
Oh, the front edge.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can have as much of the original metal as possible, and then because see even that it's straight for a bit, and then it starts to die.
Yeah.
As long
I'll
as
probably use like 6 to 8 inches over here, and then use the rest for that.
Yeah.
But cool.
Use the original shit when you can. Oh, you're videoing.
All right, so I'm gonna start working on this piece first. Kind of get the quarters. I was gonna trim that guy and kind of fit him to the roof, but why am I gonna do that when I'm not even done with the quarters yet? So this guy's first in line. I'm gonna trim this ghost line here because you see it dips off. That's what you got to do to all these panels because they were pretty much pressed into a big sheet. So I got to trim that. There's another ghost line you see on the bottom there. I can trim on that, and then I need to trim this edge here. And I think for the top, well, definitely it ends in a crease, so I'm going to have to cut that all off. But this stuff here, instead of trimming on this ghost line that's like about here, it's kind of hard to see. You see how there's a high there and it starts dipping down? That's where you would cut off. But I think I'm just going to planish it flat so I have a little extra material to work with for now before I just start cutting stuff off, because I've done that before. One of these panels here, I cut a little extra and I had to add a piece to it, which was annoying. And I need to weld it back together. I cut a piece in half where I shouldn't have cut it. So I'm learning this things just as much as everybody else. So that's what I gotta do here. Let's get started and get trimming. All right, so we got this guy fitting pretty good. I just want to get him clamped like this, just lightly. Not trying to mess him up. There we go. There you go. Oh, we're not going to use this piece, but there's no roof, but there's a roof. Just whack my head on it. Oh, you can't see it because, kind of.
I'm not mad.
Huh?
I'm not mad we're not using that.
Yeah, no. It's nice that they gave this with this one, but I don't think we need it.
Yeah, the wheel well, you're supposed to cut it out of the original car. Use that.
Yeah, so this would kind of go here, but I think we're just going to use the original quarter. And we got this much material here to graft on. That would be nice. But we need to get it fitting, the quarter fitting to this before we can know where to put this on the quarter. So first, before we do that, we got to repair it. That's what Jacob's doing now. You probably saw him in the back of the time lapse whacking on a quarter. That's what he's doing. So I guess I'll get the other side fitting like this, and then we'll, maybe if he's still doing the quarters, I'll do the roof panels. Then if he's still doing the quarters, I'll help him with the quarters. And then we'll graft everything back on. It'll be nice. Nice. Might be good. Let's check it out.
Dang all close, man.
Yeah, and like we always do, we like to split these beads in half or eighth or, whatever because it's better than making the whole thing because you keep the original bead line when you can. This one is part of the kit because this gets all different in the sedan, but yeah, it's looking real nice. Just get this mirror finish.
Yep.
And then cut and weld it in.
Well, then do this one. Probably make this.
Yeah, after we make this stuff. Because he already has another one made. This guy.
Yeah, I cut the
We're
hole
there.
too big.
Hey, nobody needs to know that. Nobody needs to know the hole's too big. Nice.
It's not too bad.
All right, so I got this guy trimmed out. Sorry, can't see anything. Got this guy trimmed out, and come on, one-handed, sucks. Fitting decent on here. Now I gotta deal with this. This, as you can tell, this is how the machine makes the panel. So this was the bottom. That's how it finished. It pushed it like that. So that was the end of it. I don't know why it ended up like that. But I'm gonna put in the planishing hammer and we're gonna get rid of that. So let's see how long this takes. Shouldn't be long. if you can see that. Yeah, you can see it. Essentially gone. Just a little itty bitty spot in the center, which, you know, you could take a hammer dolly to get that right out. So all these lines and marks, if you're worried about them, don't be, because, you know, that took maybe a minute. I got this piece that I scavenged from the sedan. I'm gonna cut it here, because this bead here starts getting nice and crisp around the corner. We kind of lose it here because the machine capabilities aren't there yet. And we pretty much have this here that we got to scavenge from here, which is fine because we have it. And I'm going to chop it here because this is a chop 3 window. And, you know, you got to chop it anyway, so might as well cut it so I can fit this piece from like here to there, get this sitting nice. And then I'll take the rest of it and fit it on here. I'll do that with this off. And then once I get that piece flowing on the buck, I'll slip this piece, I'll trim it, slip this piece underneath, and then I'll know where to scribe and weld that on. So it's pretty easy. It's all easy stuff, but this thing's, it's coming together. And that's gonna take care of this gap here. So if you guys are worried about the gap here, we're using the bead line from the original car. It's gonna make all this nice and happy. And the reason I picked here is because this seems like the biggest area where it's kind of the same size. So when we chop this down a bit, it'll be easier for me to put it back together. Let's fit this piece, hopefully. Might need to take all these panels off. Okay, that's where that goes. Now I just gotta figure out, I don't have that here, so I need to keep this. No, that's this. Okay, all right. Shit's confusing sometimes. There, okay, here we go. That's what we gotta do. Here's where the tricky part is. Yeah, this needs to change. This is the problem here. So I'm probably gonna have to cut this down the center so I can move it. This is different than a 3 window. So that looks like it's starting to fit, but I know this is not right. This needs to come up. So let's split this. There we go, the top line, this one. Split that so we can move it. And I'll also give us the opportunity to try to unbend this a little bit. unbend that. Nope. Oh, hold on. Take care of me burrs. Don't cut yourself, you know. Actually, yeah, that's it, really. It follows that. You just got to make sure it flows into. That's just very close. It's teetering on this guy here. Maybe that guy needs to be sanded down a bit to flow, you know. Let's see this. Did I not need to cut that at all? I guess I didn't need to cut that at all. What the heck? Maybe a tiny bit. That is so close. Okay, now let's see. Now I'm gonna mark the back side. Oh, come on, really? A little above the crease. The creases, line those up a little above it. I'll do a straight line to here. I don't know if this is right, but I'm gonna look at it first before I cut anything. This one, yeah, that steps up, so that's gonna be there. Yeah, this just needs to come up because this is for a sedan. It usually doesn't have a tiny bit of a catwalk here, so we gotta pull that up, and they'll be able to lay it down. Okay, let's do that. So once that's in there, let's just sit in the way this wants to sit. So let's do this one first. Yeah, that looks right. I'm gonna cut this because this detail is not part of the 3-window, so don't worry about that. So I'm gonna cut this off. Okay, we're cooking with grease now. From there over, I'm gonna try to slowly hit that up. Oh my god. Okay, so I set the camera up and I was talking, I was doing a bunch of stuff, and I was telling you how easy it was, and I didn't even record. Okay, so this started out as this profile on this side, and I kind of flattened the edge to come out a little bit because the bead wraps around the catwalk. This is the catwalk. So pretty much put it on here on a dolly and flattened it out, put pressure here so I could actually bring it down and test fit. It's good, I'll show you. Here's that. Then this one. Now I'm just trying to see where this all is gonna flow. Well, see where I need to cut the other panel. Okay, so I'm gonna trim a little under that, just so I got extra. And we'll see where we're at. Oh, don't dump the dicum. So let this dry. Then, magic. Scribe, witness mark, trim, tack. This detail is going to be dealt with. Then we can add, of course I hit the dicum, this guy to the mix. Right, somewhere in there. I have to do a bunch of trimming on him. Up in here, because we got that detail here. You know. So we can trim all that. Some of this, graft it on. This piece will have the detail on it. Oh man, this thing's coming together. This thing is coming together. It is so easy when you got all the pieces. You don't have to make any of the stuff. You just maybe got to tweak it, cut it weld it back together. That's it. That is it, homie. thing is wobbly. I'm gonna mark this just so I can trim excess and leave most of this. But I just want this to sit on the buck and this maybe go over it. Do this a test fit quick and then come back and weld it. All right, so I kind of skipped ahead, not really. You last saw me weld this on, so this is part of this now. And so I kind of just trimmed a little more off the bottom of the roof, dichromed it, and I'm getting ready to scribe this now because this sits on here. I did have to change this hump a little bit. I still have more to do. See how it's just too small compared to this one here? I need to change the radius, but I can do that after I weld it on there because I need to also beat this into shape, and I kind of want to do it when it's together. So I'm just going to scribe this up in here. I think I might just leave it, and no, I want to scribe it because it sits here nicely on the buck. And I was going to try and do this, but I need to clamp it through here and here. So once it's one piece, I'll probably drill some holes in the buck to be able to clamp it this way and up here, just like I have this hole there, go through it and clamp. So probably end up doing that after I weld, so I can and piece this in. There's still a little bit I need to trim on this. I think it comes up too far, or I'll just beat it down. But this end here seems to be really nice. Seems to flow with this perfectly. So I gotta figure out what to do with this. I do have the bead somewhere. Is it underneath the window? No, it's not on the back either. Where did I put that thing? I know I have it. Oh, it's right here. So I have the bead that was around the back window, but it doesn't quite, not that it doesn't match, but it's not the same. I need to mess with it. Which actually, that's not that bad. Actually, we may be on to something here, boys. Look at that. I think I just need to change the angle of this guy and we can use this. So, yeah, that's exactly what we need to do. So, good. That's what we do here. And then now I need to figure out this. I think I cut that piece off, so I might have it somewhere. But it's not a hard piece to make anyway if you need to. Marked it up a little bit more. Put the quarter on, quarter pieces. Looking pretty cool. I need that catwalk to make it look like something.
That line up better.
Yeah.
Makes the bearings go from Ford transmission to a Chevy motor. Because obviously I'd rather have a bearing than bullshit.
I don't know. Alright, so I got this thing trimmed up. Oh yeah, that's gonna be mint. So I'm going to bring this over to the table. I want to weld it together, and then we're going to bring it back here, tweak it if we need to tweak it, make it sit on the buck the way we need to, and then try and get this piece squared away. Probably even just to here. And then once we do the catwalk, we'll figure that stuff out. We need to make some of it. I think that fits really nicely. We need to make some of it, I think, because what we took from the car, as you can see from the sedan, maybe. I don't know. It kind of looks like the same amount, but it's not. There's a little more here on the 3-window. So I had to scooch this forward. So I lost some length here. So we'll figure that out. Unless I have some of that still connected to the sedan somewhere, I'll have to find that out. But right now I'm just going to get this welded and we'll figure that out later. Actually, not yet. I want to sweep it up at least a little bit. All right, so I got this hole here.
Yep.
Try to line up all my marks that I already have on this thing. And we're gonna put a hole. Probably good. The hole's too small in the metal?
I think so.
Yeah, you'll power through it. I gotta cut it off anyway when I graft the quarter on.
Oh.
Now I need to do another couple, or at least one. Like up here somewhere. Let's do one here. Go right on the corner. I'll stand over here.
Right here?
Yep, drill right through the corner. Okay. Cool. To do something? A little harder up there.
I don't think it's not the same size.
It's gonna be fun to cut out. I'm gonna tack this up and hopefully be able to fit it. Oh no. First one wasn't even close. Oh yeah, dude. I don't have any filler, but let me see if I can. Oh, where we're going, we don't need roads. Oh, damn right. When you're as good as me, shit. No, I got it. There's another part that I think I might though.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah, you got any small piece of filler?
Yeah.
Anything.
Small piece, like.
I just need to make a tack, so it doesn't matter. Actually, I got it. This will work. When you're in a pinch, this works. Ow!
Did it arc on your arm?
Ah, I wasn't grounded. It could shock me.
Fun stuff.
There you go. Ow. Yeah. It's been hurting more lately. This thing's getting more powerful. It's ridiculous.
Power grows every day.
Yeah, I know. I could probably use this. This is the top. Right? No, this is the top of this. So I'm just gonna put this down here. Stretch this as I need it, cut this, be done.
Exacto knife here?
No.
No.
So I've got this shaped up a little bit. All I have to do is stretch this for edge. Get it to flow correctly. And now I'm just trimming a little bit. So I can, oh yeah, fit it to this, trim a little bit more. And from there to there. So this is where you get messed up all the time because it's like a three-dimensional thingy. So right now it's bigger, it's small. What's bigger? The hole would be bigger if I just marked it all out and then stuffed this in. It would be like 1/8 inch gap everywhere. So I'm gonna scribe the edge and then two edges, kind of technically. Scribe 2 edges. Then I'm gonna come in, hold it up against these 2 edges, and mark the other edges. So I think there's only one technically. So this is just gonna get cut right there. Actually, here. That might be a cutting butt here, but yeah, it's getting cut there. So I'll cut this guy, cut this off flat, cut up here, and then I'll have to do another round of scribing. I'm gonna end it sooner than it is, just so I don't overcut anything, and then I'll come in and cut the other side. I'm gonna leave the scribe line too because it wants to go in. So I can kind of get away with it on this side, but just so I don't mess it up. Give myself extra. Mint. Friggin' mint. I could not see that scribe line.
Oh.
Could not see that scribe line. Hope I did it right. All right, so I got this corner looking right, along with the other corner. Little massaging I need to do here where this bead turns into this one. I'll take that to probably that dolly stand over there and move that around. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. And I got this guy here from the old sedan. It's gonna go right here, but I need to shorten the bead. It's bigger on the sedan. Well, actually, or is it? Yeah, it's a little bigger. A little bit big. I think this needs to be shrunk down, actually. So, well, I know it's big because that's the bead. And that. Actually, damn, it's fucking close. Is it this size? Might be the size. Okay. I might just have to mess around with it because it seems like, it looks like here that it's bigger. Maybe this needs to get massaged up in there. And it's actually down here. So let me just make sure. How's it fit on the other side? Other side seems okay. Okay. Maybe I don't have to mess with this. I just gotta move it, manipulate it. Let me do that and I'll show you what I have to do. I got the roof sections off. They're sitting there chilling. They look really good. Seems to be flowing exactly how I want them to be. The other one is on the other side. Can't really see it, but I've showed it to you before. This is looking good. It's kind of mocked up with this. I'm almost ready to refine those lines and scribe everything and weld that together. But first off, I gotta make room in here in the buck for this window opening. Because the way they have it now is if the window didn't have all of this structure on it, if it was just this lip right here. But that's not the case because we're not making the window opening from scratch. We're using the existing, so it's got more structure on it than they could scan. So when they scanned an original car, they didn't scan one with the interior out of it. They kind of just scanned the outside, which is all they could do. And you know, it's how it went, and that's how it is. So this is just, as you guys know, this is the prototype. So there's gonna be issues that I'm finding out so you guys don't have to. So right now we need more relief on this back window section so we can put it in and make sure everything lines up with each other instead of just putting it in after the fact and it's crooked. So I gotta take 3/4 of an inch over and about 1.5 inches down out of every single one of these stations around the back window. So I gotta cut it with this little handsaw because everything else I had tried to do doesn't seem like it's working. So this is the only thing that's working. This is a tight spot. You can't really pull a regular saw and cut it because you got no stroke. So I'm going to be working on that, trying to get the roof kind of almost buttoned up today. I do have to leave early, so we'll see what gets done. And then after, I got to refine these back sections before I put it on there. Some of my weld lines are a little overstretched, so I have a really nice new shrinking disc from a JRM, same guy that makes my planishing hammer. So I'm going to shrink down the welds that I overstretched, which, you know, it's an average thing. I'm not going to lie over here. And this section, these pieces here, they're going to be fixed when they go into production. But this edge here, I guess they had to stretch it in super deep. It got really thin here, and it's almost too thin. So I got to kind of, I got to cut a section out and put a piece of 19 in there, 19 gauge. And I'm probably going to do it on this side too. It doesn't look as bad. I'll go over with the shrinking disc, and if it ends up smoothing everything out and it doesn't oil can, I'm going to leave it because there's no reason to. But this side, for some reason, was really thin. But we're fixing that, so don't worry about it. I'm just being 100% transparent in what's going on here. And as you can see all the lights are a little messed up. So I got to go and smooth this all out. But this is a giant panel to do. Not that it's difficult, but It just takes some time and refining. But if you're doing this at your house, you know this is not gonna be a weekend job. This is a project. And at the end of the day, you get a chop 3 window for not chop 3 window prices. So yeah, that's what's going on now. I'm gonna put a little time lapse of me cutting that wood, and hopefully we can get that window fitting in there so I can mock up the sides, and pretty much the whole roof is gonna look pretty much together, I hope, when that sinks in. I hope there's not any gaps here. I might have to put a strip in, but I'm not sure. But we'll find out. All right, so I got the back fitting. Everything sits nice on the buck, so we can connect these 2 pieces. Unfortunately, I do have to add a little strip. Just no big deal. I'll probably add it to the sides of this and maybe bring it down. I might weld this to this. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna weld this to this, and then I'm gonna add a strip all the way from here to here. So when I put this back on, it'll sit against this corner. It'll also sit better along the other corner. And yeah, the reason it's not sitting so nice there is because the shape is a little different on this roof, and it's just sitting on this there. So if I push here, it lets everything sit down the way it's supposed to be. So I think I just need to put a little bit of stretch right there so the rest of it can lay down, but everywhere else seems to be good. I'll just do some quick measurements to make sure that is straight. Other than that, that's gonna be pretty cool. And yeah, this roof is coming together. I'm going to fully make this roof section. I'm sure you can use this, but I might use it, I don't know. It needs to be stretched out a little more on the edge. Yeah, I'll probably use this. I'll probably spot weld or cut this channel out because we're gonna fill the roof anyway. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll clean this metal off, and then I'll just stretch the edge so that it fits. So I'm reusing the metal, and you can do the same thing on your English wheel, or where'd the planishing hammer go? Planishing hammer, honestly, you know, I moved the planishing hammer today, and part of yesterday, back to the Pullmax. So it's mounted with the JRM Tool Co. hoop mount. It doesn't interfere my throat depth, and I got, you know, pretty good amount of room on each side of this. I can even change the hoop if I need to, because the stand it was on broke. Where is it? Yeah, the foot snapped right off. So this stand, we got to figure out what to do with that. But other than that, you know, we cleaned the shop a little bit this week, beginning of this week. I got room to work on everything. If you notice, there's a big amount of space in the center here, so I can work. I need to get this out of here. I need to get either this one or this one out of here, and I'll have some room. I have the doors back from blasting, so I can start doing the same treatment that I did on those 32 3-window doors. They're fully split. Gonna restore the inners, restore the outers, you know, do my whole thing there. And this one needs some more stuff. It's got the door tops on there, like a 36, and we got the dash that's being modified. It's coming along. But, you know, it's hard to touch everything and get something done. So I've been kind of jamming on this right now, but I got to shift my focus over to this and then this also. So I got to find the balance. But this is looking like a real 3-window, honestly. Look at that. It's a whole car. And I think I'm going to throw this in the sandblaster, see if it even fit. And if it fits, see how much I can blast. I'd like to get the whole thing blasted. Same with this. If not, I'll strip it with the strip and disc, but be cleaner if I can just do it in there. So we'll see. So I got pieces made. I kind of need to, you know, like I said, extend some and weld everything together. So it's coming along. And Jacob is almost done with this quarter, the old one from the sedan. So we're almost ready to cut and fit it to the buck like that other side is. I don't know how much I elaborated on that before, but it's pretty much the sedan quarter. I could have cut this better, but I wasn't paying attention. I cut it wrong and then I have to do it again. But you can probably just bring this down in one long swoop instead of having steps. I might fix that. But this is just a sedan quarter. Clamped to the U-Chop It kit, you know. Had to make a little bit of relief on the buck here. See that the structure was getting in the way, and I don't want to cut the structure away. I'd rather cut the buck away. So that fits there. I need to cut this in for the swoop there. I need to bend this over. You know, a lot of little stuff. But this is not a, you know, weekend project. It's a long-term project that you're gonna have a really nice car at the end that's gonna be worth some money. It's not gonna, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's not nothing's an overnight success. So, you know, if you want something nice, you got to work hard for it. And relatively speaking, doing it like this in a kit like this that has all this back end shaped is saving you so much time. It's unbelievable. So yeah,